Hey guys, Enoki Halusa here. I just thought I'd do this quick, short video. Basically, it's an interesting subject. It was a theory idea that we had before the Broly movie was actually released. I mean, obviously this theory idea is not going to hold up any weight now, although his abilities, or the reason why he's, he builds strength so quickly, has never really been explained, aside from the fact that basically he's just an exceptional Saiyan. But we did come up with some different ideas, and one of the ideas I pitched as a kind of joke in a conversation I had with Geekdom 101, and basically he actually really liked this idea. He said he loves wacky ideas because he thinks it expands the universe a lot bigger, the Dragon Ball universe a lot bigger, and makes it more interesting and less predictable. Now, this particular idea that I had was the reason that Broly's abilities match those of his opponents. Well, that's kind of one way of putting it. So basically, in the movie, as we see, and if you take the original movies as well, I suppose that kind of works. Although in the original movies, it just is that he is exceptional. I think in this, his power level, obviously when he was a child, was exceptionally high. But that's not to say what theory I have could actually be blown out the window. But let's not make too much ground for this and take too much into consideration, to take it to heart or anything, because this is just a wacky idea, right? It's just one of my wacky, out of the box, off the top of the head canon type, ideas that I thought would be really interesting and could actually make a lot of sense and would explain a lot as well. Okay, so first of all, let's start off. So when Broly is a child, he's sent to a remote planet called Vampa, right? Now, Vampa, vampire, you get the idea. So the word is like a play on the word vampire, because the planet is plagued by vampiric creatures, like giant spiders and other creatures that suck blood to sustain. Okay, so now, hear me out on this. As he grows up living on that planet, he has to eat those creatures. Now, what happens if you drink the blood of a vampire? You become a vampire, right? Now, their biological makeup is completely different to a Saiyan's or to a human or anything like that. So maybe the reaction of eating these animals created a different effect for Broly, let's say. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The reason Broly, and this is just a theory, right? I guess this isn't fact or anything like that. There's no research done on this whatsoever. It's just like looking at the movie and coming up with a silly idea and sharing it with you guys. What if, as he grew older, feasting on these creatures, he the ability that was passed on to him through them, which mutated with the Saiyan body, because Saiyan bodies, like the Saiyan biology, mutates forms and power levels and transformations and things like that. What if what would happen if it mutated the original strain of the vampiric disease, I suppose you could call it, and turned it into a different kind of consuming ability, i.e. energy? So instead of Broly being a blood-sucking vampire, he's an energy-sucking vampire. How does that sound? Okay, I know he's out in the daytime and all that, but these vampiric animals, they live in the daytime, so it's not the same as traditional Earth vampires where, sunlight kills them. Oh my god, I'm dying! That kind of rubbish. They can sustain light and dark. So that would make sense, because that way, he'd be able to be out in the daytime, so it's not like a traditional vampire. So, an energy vampire. Hear me out on this. When he fights his opponents, he absorbs as much energy as they're putting out so that he can match them and then push himself a little bit further so that way he's stronger than his opponent. How does that sound? So basically, when he's fighting Goku in his base form, when he fights Vegeta in his base form, Vegeta's getting the upper hand, slapping him about all over the place, and then suddenly Broly just starts getting instantly stronger, instantly faster, instantly more powerful. And then, Vegeta it's forced to push into his transformation to Super Saiyan 2, which then leads Broly into, you see his eyes do the yellow Uzaru thing, or whatever it is that people call it, Akai or Akari or something like that. But anyway, that form, but he doesn't fully go into it, which means that his body is trying to react to that transformation. So he's again, let's say, not necessarily absorbing his energy, like taking the energy away like Moro, but like matching his energy with Vegeta's energy and kind of like duplicating it, so that way he's got the same energy level as his opponent. Then obviously he starts getting the upper hand again, so Vegeta goes into Super Saiyan God, and again he knocks him flying. Broly loses his, loses his shit basically, and powers up even further so that he could take him on. And then obviously, that's when Goku decides he wants to have a go. And then it goes from there, basically. So getting more and more, progressively more and more powerful. But as obviously he's absorbing all this energy to sustain his own, to push himself past that power level, he starts losing his senses. He becomes more animal than anything else. Which is another side note to the whole saying, was it like the Super Uzaru form, which is basically using the power of an Uzaru, but in human form. So obviously he would have needed the amount of power to push himself into that form, because it doesn't have a tail anymore. And that could be because obviously he's absorbing or matching his energy levels, maybe absorbing a little bit like a vampire of his opponent's energy. I think that would be a good way to explain the reason why he's able to keep up with Frieza. And he slaps Frieza about like tissue paper. But I mean, how he can keep up with Vegeta and Goku and then surpass them, so that they're forced to go into an even more powerful form, which Broly unfortunately can't match because it's just too high. But that was my silly little wacky idea. I don't know what people think of this, right? Because I didn't really think too hard on it. I didn't do any research or anything like that. I just sort of thought of the idea. I tried putting two and two together. The planet's called Vampa. The enemies or the creatures on the planet are vampires, and he gets stronger as if he was absorbing energy like a vampire. Like it was blood, like it was sustenance. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think this could be a good idea? I mean, they won't employ it into the show or anything, because obviously it's already done. They don't need to give an explanation. Everyone has to make their own explanations themselves. That's my explanation, or that would be my theory as to the cause and effect of how that goes ahead and goes forward. But anyway, give me your comments and all that. Put them in the comments section below and all that. You like the video, give it a thumbs down. You didn't like the video, give it a thumbs up. Unsubscribe, delete my Twitter, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.